It can be learned, which is a great thing. If organizing were just part of your character, then you couldn't learn it. But I truly believe that organizing is a skill that can be learned. Unfortunately, it's not taught in school. If we have taught organizing in school from a very young age, and those people became the future adults and CEOs, etc., we wouldn't have as many problems with it. So I would say out of that 80%, some of them don't have an interest in changing, therefore they never will change. Some of them have never been taught it, so they need the knowledge, as I talked about when you all first got here. They're the ones that need the content experts who help them. And then there are the ones that know it and don't do it. They just don't do it. They just don't set up the system. They have the ability to do it, they just don't choose to. If you truly set up a system that works for you, the key then is this. This is what you are talking about. Dedicate. That is what equals success. You have to dedicate yourself to maintaining the system. And I don't mean, by the way, constant vigilance at every second. You know, you can fall off your game once in a while. I mean, you know, life throws you a curveball. You know, you have people that are sick in your life, you get sick, there's death in the family, there's divorce, you lose your job. And those are times when you want to have good systems in place because you want to make sure that you can get through the tough times. But there is a such thing as transitional disorganization. Transitional disorganization is during those times. And there are people like me and Andrea and Andrea who are professionals at this, and when life is in transition, we get transitionally disorganized also. We just are able to get back on track a little quicker and smoother because we have the system. So I do believe that out of the 80%, maybe there's 40% that are not doing it because they don't care. There's a small percentage, maybe 20% that haven't learned it. And there's another 20% that do it and don't stick to it. So that comes into the dedicate. The dedicate is the maintenance program. And you have to maintain your systems. Or find someone else to maintain them, which means to delegate. Otherwise, they're not going to maintain themselves. If I don't actually take the papers and put them away, they can't walk into the drawer. If I don't shred them, they can't walk into the shredder. And if I don't constantly look at my calendar and say no to certain things, if I just constantly said yes, my calendar would blow up and I would pop. So dedicate is where the success comes in. And by the way, this is, as the gentleman said, where most people fail. Most people in a behavior modification program think January. What's the most popular behavior modification program in the world? Weight loss, dieting, exactly, getting in shape. And they go out like gangbusters and they join all the gyms, right? The gyms love this, by the way. I have a friend that owns a gym. Oh, she's like, January, woohoo! Huge, huge, you know, mass amount of people coming in. These are people that were sedentary, that never exercised before, okay, that did not eat well, and now they're trying to, A, deprive themselves of every food they've ever loved. You can already see where this is going. And they go to the gym like 5 times that week and pull every muscle because they have no idea what it feels like. And now they think, what, self-fulfilling prophecy, see, I told you I couldn't do it. And they completely fall off the wagon and they never go back. What I want you to do with organizing is I want you to think of it like behavior modification. I want you to go slowly and really, really just take one step at a time. So like for you, for example, when you brought up the, you know, what if I don't want to eliminate it, you might need to not start with the stuff that's the hardest. Okay, like if you know there's a trigger for you, like, oh, my kid's stuff, you know, I have a hard time getting rid of it. Don't start with that because you're going to get blocked and then you're going to say, see, I knew I couldn't do it, and you're not going to be able to keep going. So start with something that's quick and easy, get your, you know, your organizing muscles flowing, and motivate yourself and say, okay, I can do this. So all of you think of something now that you can start with that's not the hardest thing in the world to do. Because if you try to go back and do the hard, like if I said to you with the diet and weight loss, you have to exercise 5 days a week for the entire month of January, you go, oh. But if I said, why don't you start with 1? Maybe then you could do it and feel successful. So if you want to equate this with behavior modification, fine. For a lot of people, they don't want to equate this with behavior modification because it feels like too much work. Again, going back to that thing, enjoy it. The interesting thing about enjoy is that a few people have said to me, why is it a step in the process? Isn't it the result? It is both a step in the process and the result. And the reason for that is you have to know why you are thinking of going on this organizing journey. Because if there is no like dangling carrot at the end of the rainbow, then you're not going to do it. So I want you to all think right now, just scream them out. For you, what would the enjoy be? Like, if you went through this, what are you hoping to get?
Life.
Life back. Very good. Life back, and describe for me what you mean by life.
I personally feel that I could spend the rest of my life in my clutter,
Okay.
going around in circles, while there's a whole other life out there that I should be living, and it's getting late.
Okay. Good. The fact that you realize that, you're already so ahead of the game. Because it's important to you. And when something's important to you, usually that will help propel you forward through the process. There are some people, by the way, that love the process of getting organized. You might think I'm nuts, but there are clients of mine that love it. They're like, this feels good, I love it. You're sorting and purging and eliminating and categorizing. And then I have other clients that this feels like, needle, like what do you call that, nails on a chalkboard, and what helps propel them forward is just the bottom step. I know why I'm doing this, and I need to keep that in my sights. And so ask yourself, are you the type that you think would enjoy the organizing journey itself, or are you going to be the type that really needs to move towards the E, enjoy? And so for you, and I love the way you described it as life, because the reason I love that is what most people find when they find out, like I'm at a party or a networking mixer, and they say, what do you do? And I say, I'm a certified professional organizer. And they go, oh God, boy do I need you. And I laugh. And then they say, but I don't have any time to get organized. And to me, that is like nails on a chalkboard. Because for two reasons. One is the very people that say they don't have the time to get organized are actually the ones who usually need it the most, because of all the time that they're losing to being disorganized. And yet, this sort of tautology of T plus T equals T, they don't get it. They don't get it. The other thing that bothers me about that is, and I say, oh, so, they'll say something like, oh, I wish I could get organized, but I don't have any time. And I stop and I go, really? Hold on. Let me check your pulse. Actually, you're living, you have time. In fact, you have the same 24 hours in your day that everyone else in the world has that's living right now or has ever lived. And I don't tell you that to depress you. I tell you that to empower you. And the reason why Jan made me think of it is Benjamin Franklin has a great quote. It's, dost thou love life? If so, do not squander time. That is the stuff life is made of. Life, time is life. Okay? And the more we recognize that, the better we will do with time management. Because when we think of time as time is money, and I was a lawyer, so I build my time in 5-minute increments. Not a fun thing to do. Time is money actually belittles time, in my opinion. Time is way more important than money. You would hope that I can make another buck next year. You would hope, right? But I can't get back the moment it just passed. That's it. It's gone forever. So to me, that is way more important than money. So I like the way you describe that, because it really shows how powerful it is in terms of I want my life back. And the fact that you want it badly enough hopefully will propel you through the organizing process. And so think about what would work for you. Is it an image? Like, are you visual? Some people, like again, going back to the weight loss thing, I have some clients that are like, oh, I'm going to put, so-and-so model on the fridge. And then other clients like, you put that model on my fridge, I will kill the fridge and I'll eat potato chips. So ask, so do you want to